Do not attempt to adjust your screen. For the next 30 minutes, I control what you see. So for Easter Sunday, smoked ham and eggs. Let's get it. Okay guys, we're in the kitchen and we got a ham here, honey ham. You can get any kind you'd like. This is spiral cut. You can also get a whole ham. And of course, you know, the directions are pretty much the same whether you smoke this or bake it. You know, it's roughly about 20 minutes per pound. So just keep that in mind. And also keep in mind that this is pre-cooked. So you're basically just heating this, you know, to an edible temperature. So don't worry about this being underdone, overdone, any of that. So we're simply going to unwrap it here. Just like so. That's a nice looking ham. And as I always do, just give that a pat dry. You don't have to obsess with it. Again, that's just to get some of that moisture that's contained in the preservatives. Just kind of gets that off of there, so you got a clean slate. Alright, so today I'm out of the BC Mac rub. You can use any kind of standard rub really, just to add a little flavor to this. So that's what we're going to do. Again, this is just Grill Mate's generic barbecue rub. But you can go all kinds of different ways with flavors. You can do that to the end of the earth. Oh, I almost forgot. Before you put the rub on, see, getting a little ahead of myself. This is just some ground mustard, some brown mustard. Brown ground mustard, I should say. I should have had all this stuff already off, but hey, we're doing it together. No big deal. Alright. So we're just going to put a little of that mustard on there, just as a binder. And I got the non-spicy kind. You can get the spicy if you like. They even make it hot. I mean, not just spicy, but hot. But I got the non-spicy because I've got some people who don't like spice too much. So just remember, you're cooking for other people. See, that's the thing with these spiral hams. You gotta watch they don't fall apart there on you. Alright, fair enough. So now we're going to take our rub. Let me turn that so you can see it. Sorry about that. So just give that a nice liberal coating. And it's spiral ham, you know, for a reason. When you cook, you can get down in those slices. Don't be afraid to do that. Just kind of open it up a little. Get some of that rub down in there. So I'll tip it over here and do the same thing. Now the good thing about these spiral cut hams is that you can do this. It's a lot nicer for when you season, but you have to worry because these are spiral hams, they have a tendency to dry out a little more than a whole ham. But I'll show you kind of a little secret I do anyway to help you with that issue. Alright. We don't have to season it to death, but something like that. And again, sorry for the poor lighting. It's also getting dark outside, but essentially that. We're gonna put that on the smoker, and I'll be back. Okay guys, we're on to the pellet grill. It's set at 275. I think it's still climbing here. It's also adjusting to the wind. A little bit of wind out here. So that's not actually a can of Coca-Cola, it's just a can of water. It's important to keep the chamber moist at all times, really, with all kinds of meat, but particularly with things that are pre-cooked, such as this, that have a tendency to dry out because it's already sliced, as this is, like a spiral cut ham. So another little secret I used is I actually flip the ham upside down. I actually want to keep those chambers closed instead of letting that fan out, laying it on its side, letting that heat get down in between those slices. I actually want it to be more like a whole ham that's not sliced. So that's why I oriented it this way, to keep it kind of closed up on the inside. Don't worry about the smoke flavor. Smoke penetrates meat. That's why you have a smoke ring, you know, pretty much no matter what you cook. I also put a piece of aluminum foil underneath it, just to protect it a little bit from that heat rising up from the bottom, because that bottom piece is basically going to get, you know, the brunt of the heat. And there's no fat cap layer or anything like that on this, as there would be like a pork butt or something. But again, got a little water in the chamber there, just to keep it moist. Then we'll check on it in about an hour. You know, maybe spray it a little bit then. So we'll check back. Okay guys, while the ham gets started smoking, we're going to make a glaze. Now, most of your hams will come with some kind of a glaze. You can use that if you want to. If you're short on time, or if you just don't feel like making your own. Of course, if you make one yourself, it tends to be a little better. Especially when you add this to it, which is kind of what we're making today. Not kind of, it is what we're making. So we're making a Jim Beam honey glazed ham. So we're going to start with, just find you a bowl. You're going to get a ½ cup of really the bourbon of your choice. I just chose honey flavor because, hey, we're making ham. Why not? So ½ cup of your favorite bourbon. We're going to get 1 cup of brown sugar. So we're just going to add that to the mix. Now we're going to need some pineapple juice. Just get you, you know, these ringed pineapples that we're going to use later anyway for the ham. So this is about a 20-ounce can. So we're going to open that up and try to find one that says it's packed with pineapple juice. The pineapples themselves are packed with juice. And we're just going to use the juice out of this can. So we're going to see what that amounts to. That's going to be enough. It's going to really add some good flavor to our glaze. Last but not least, and I just realized I may need a spoon to get this out. This is the brown mustard that we had earlier. So 1/4 cup of brown mustard. Brown mustard just adds a little more flavor than regular mustard. Would you happen to have some Grey Poupon? Why, yes, I do. Alright, some of you get that reference. I don't know why I was going to try to stir that. That wouldn't have done me any good. You want to get a whisk at that point. Now I'm kind of wishing I had a bigger bowl. But we're going to whisk that together. As you can see, it's going to mix pretty nice there. This is going to be our glaze. That's the entirety of the ingredients. So we're going to let that ham smoke about 45 minutes, and then we're going to add some of this to it. And again, this is stone ground mustard, so don't worry if this isn't, as you can see, it mixes pretty good. You're still going to see some of those mustard granules, but you can mix to your heart's content. A whisk will work just fine. No need to get a blender or anything like that. So again, I'll probably continue to mix this a little more, but you kind of get the idea there. So that's going to be our glaze here in about 45 minutes. I'll be back with you. I mean, while we're at it, when in Rome, just a little dab will do ya. Oh my God. I don't know how you guys do it. Next time I might put a little pineapple. Oh my God. Let me take a moment. Wow. Needs a little pineapple juice or something. Okay, so I brought this in from the smoker. It's been about an hour. I'm just gonna run a probe in it just out of curiosity, just to kind of see where we're at. Okay, 110, 112, something like that. So that's telling me that's a fine time to add the glaze. So again, we got our glaze we made earlier. Just want to mix that up maybe a little more. Looks really good. And I'm gonna spritz it down with just a little water here. Again, you have to be cautious for the ham because it's so lean and it's pre-cooked, so that we don't overcook it. We're going to want to take it off at about 140, just so you know kind of what we're shooting for. Okay, so I grabbed a little brush here, so you can take that, just start applying that all over the ham. Smells really good, by the way. And that's another thing to remember. Even a glaze like this, you know, that's applying moisture. That's always a good thing, again, when you're cooking any kind of meat, but particularly things that are very lean. And like I said, especially pre-cooked. So I've got a lot of this glaze. I'm just going to pour some over the top here, like so. There we go. Just get that running down all sides. Don't be afraid of it. You can smell that bourbon, that's for sure, but don't worry about that either. It's going to cook off. The alcohol will cook out of this. So don't worry about the kids feeling a little tipsy. Not gonna happen. Alright, so since I've applied that, I'm also going to come back with a little more of that rub. Again, just whatever rub you want to use. Standard barbecue rub. And again, just keep your guests in mind. You may have people who aren't fond of particular bold flavors, particularly spices, things that are hot. Wow, that looks really good. And that glaze, that sugar in the glaze, is really helping this rub to stick. I can see as soon as it hits. Ooh, we gotta shake it up. Sometimes when you leave this rub sit, don't think that it gets bad if it's a little clumpy. It just starts to collect a little moisture inside the container. Well, anybody that uses brown sugar knows that that's why they put that little, you know, the little bear thing they put in there just to keep the moisture out. Okay, so now we're going to do something else to it. Give me just a moment. Okay guys, I'm back. Now, remember that pineapple that we had earlier? These are pineapple rings. And then we got some toothpicks here, so as the old saying goes, if it's worth doing right. So we can just kind of pin these down here. Not going to make a big to-do about this as far as placement. We're just going to get some on there. And again, this is, not again, I guess I'm telling you the first time here. Pineapple juice, the acidity in it. That does also help moisturize the meat, keep it nice and tender, not to mention the flavor. Now, in case you're wondering, yes, pineapple belongs on ham. Pineapple does not belong on pizza. Don't send me hate messages. Okay, we're not going to worry too much, especially back here, because let's face it, the back of your ham is like the back of your Christmas tree, right? You know what I'm saying. Front side's for presentation. This will be very good. Again, I'm just kind of tacking these up here. I'm not gonna sweat it too much. Got a couple more here. Get one down low here. All right. One more. Fishing for pineapples. Okay. I'll stick it right here. Alright. So I got a little more juice in there. Don't be afraid to pour that over. Wow. Love it. Alright. Now I'm going to put this back on the smoker. I'm assuming probably another 45 minutes to an hour. I'm going to keep checking the temperature until we hit 140. Because again, this is already cooked. Really don't want to go over 140 or you try that again, or you'll dry it out. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, this is take two. When you're working with animals and children, as they say. Anyway, Biscuit loves this stuff. I don't know what it is. Intestines. It reminds me of what we had. See? Biscuit wants it. Reminds me of what we had at school. You could, but don't sip it. It doesn't smell good. But let's see. Let's see how Biscuit reacts to it. You just like squeeze it out, I guess. Oh yeah, it smells like cat food, really, like that you get in a can. Okay, good Biscuit. Biscuit likes to be petted, likes to be patted. Biscuit loves this, loves his butt patted. He gets down in this position like this just for it. Yes. All right, Biscuit. I guess we better check our ham. What do you think? Okay. Okay guys, so I'm back outside. It's been probably on the smoker about an hour and a half. I just checked the temp again, and it's running about 125, getting close to, 130 maybe, depending on where you probe. So basically I brought back out our glaze, and I might just set that down there for just a moment. So I'm just going to put a little more of that over the top. Again, I'm just going to kind of dabble in some of these areas. And you may notice some people are really big in their videos, real prominent about, spreading apart the individual slices when they glaze this, and you'll notice I didn't do that earlier. And I think of it in terms of, if you were cooking a whole ham and you didn't have a spiral ham, obviously you wouldn't do that. Anything that's sliced, you're going to get some of that runoff down in those slices. So I'm not too worried about it. I feel like we're going to get a good flavor, and again, that's just going to drip down. It's going to coat the meat. And we did get some of that rub internally earlier when we applied the rub. So just apply this, you know, about every 15 or 20 minutes as it's cooking. Like I say, be liberal with it. Wow, it smells so good. And I can smell that pineapple too. Pineapple's starting to take on a little smoke, and that will start to caramelize a little more too. Just smells phenomenal. So I'm just going to keep checking on it. Again, I'm going to pull it off about 140. I don't look for it to go more than maybe another 30 minutes, but we'll check back and see. Okay guys, so I just went and checked on this, and it's a little hard to see at that angle, but you can see we're running about 139, 140. That's exactly where we want to take that off at. We definitely don't want to cook that anymore, because again, pre-cooked, and also we're going to be reheating this tomorrow for Easter dinner. So I'm just going to take a little bit more of that glaze and just go over the top a little bit. Yes, Biscuit, I know. It smells good. You hear Biscuit there. Biscuit can smell this, I'm sure, as I can. I can tell you this smells phenomenal. So again, just going to put a little more moisturizer on that. So that's it, folks, as far as how that turned out and how it looks. I'm very pleased with it. So I got a little piece that fell off the end here. Wow. That is delicious. That is so good. We're going to reheat this for dinner tomorrow, and I think everybody's going to be pleasantly surprised. I'm also, as promised, going to be cooking the smoked eggs. I'm actually going to be doing that in the morning, but I'll add that, of course, onto the video, and tomorrow we'll eat. Okay, so it is the next day. Happy Easter, everybody. Praise God. So we're going to reheat the ham. So pretty easy. I just set the oven to 275. You really don't want to go any higher than that, because again, risk of drying this out. And just going to put a little water in there with it. You don't have to drown it. And this is a pretty shallow baking dish, so I wouldn't want to put a ton of water anyway. 275. It's going to take about 10 minutes per pound. This is roughly a 5-pound ham, maybe a little change. So I'm looking at probably about an hour here. So I'm going to get this covered with foil and get this in the oven. Okay guys, on to the smoked eggs. I've already just put a couple in here. We are going to put them on the smoker, but I'm going to start with boiling them just on the stove, because there's no point in putting this on the smoker right now. Some people do, but you're not going to get any of that smoke flavor through this shell. Be careful not to bust these, as I just did this one. So it's kind of hard to get in here, but tongs work. I found that's why I had to restart the video. Actually, I dropped the first couple in there and cracked them. I just realized. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna make about 6 of them. Now, I think these are all intact. So again, I kind of learned the hard way not to just drop them in that shallow water. But I'm gonna boil these for 8 minutes, and then we're gonna crack the shell open, and then we'll put them on the smoker. So set your timer, 8 minutes, we'll crack it and see what it looks like. Okay guys, so we boiled that for 8 minutes. Make sure after you take them off, you put them in an ice bath. So that's what we're gonna do, just gently. Again, I learned some lessons. Don't drop eggs apparently. They will crack. Yikes. There's some remnants in this pan from the 2 that I broke previously. Okay, so I'm literally gonna let those chill out for about 5 minutes. Then we're gonna crack them open and get them on the smoker. Okay guys, so I forgot to mention that you want to let that rest in the ice bath to stop the cooking process. So this is chilled for about 5 minutes. Now here's a little trick. Actually, this is a little trick to tell you that this egg is boiled. Spin an egg like that. Try that with an egg that's just out of the refrigerator, say, and you'll definitely see the difference. Actually, let me grab one really quick. So here's an egg that has not been boiled. Try to spin it. Literally, I'm trying to spin that as fast as I can there. It won't spin. Now, in comparison, again, we look at our boiled egg. That's how we know we're ready to crack. A little trick you can use is literally just roll it. And you're gonna see this one came right out of the shell nicely. Yeah, when you feel it, I can feel that this is, again, that 8-minute mark is just on the edge of what you could get by with and still have a hard-boiled egg. Try not to crush this, because again, this is barely to that point, which is perfect because we still have a little cooking to do on the smoker. I hope I'm getting that. And again, if I cook this a little longer, I could be a little faster and a little more aggressive. But you get the point there. That's what I mean about pushing too hard. This one I kind of broke a little bit, but that's okay. Not gonna worry about it. Still gonna make a nice smoked egg. Like I said, that 8-minute mark, if you push too hard, see, you'll get a little crack in the egg there. But anyway, I'm gonna do the rest of these and then I'll get back with you and we'll get them on the smoker. Okay guys, we're back outside here and we're gonna get the eggs on the smoker. This is rolling about 250. That's a good place as far as temperature to do this. So now you just put those eggs on the smoker. You can put these right on the rack if you want. I'm just using foil, just preference. So that's what gives these the smoke flavor. Again, if you try to just smoke these in the shell, and you'll see videos where people do that, you're going to find they get zero smoke flavor. So this way you're going to get a beautifully smoked egg for, well, deviled eggs. I'm sure these would make amazing deviled eggs. Now, I personally don't like deviled eggs, but I know people that do really, really do. They will fight you for the last deviled egg. So anyway, gonna let this go, probably about 15 minutes. Then we're gonna take them off. By that time, the ham should be warmed up and we'll be ready to eat. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. You guys can go ahead and season that with your favorite rub. Again, just get a little flavor on there. The egg's already got a little moisture content to it, so that rub will stick on there. And see, with filming and all, I just about forgot this step entirely. Alright, just gonna leave it at that. Okay guys, so we've gone about 15 minutes here, and it's probably hard to see in that light, but that white shell did take on a little bit of that smoke collar, so I just got a little bowl here that I'm going to transfer them to. Not trying to make you dizzy here. Nice. Wow, they look great. So I'm going to take them inside and take a look. Okay, I'm back inside here. And I've got our eggs. You can see the yellowish hue to the egg itself. So I'm literally just cutting it here. Wow. Looks good. Looks really good. So we'll see how it tastes. That is so good. I'm not kidding you. I'm experiencing this for the first time. As I've told you, I don't always try this stuff in advance. I don't know that I'll ever eat another hard-boiled egg a different way. Try this for real, I'm serious. 8 minutes boiled on the stove, crack it. 15 minutes, actually it went about 17 on the smoker, 250. You get that smoke taste immediately. Definitely not something I'm used to with a hard-boiled egg. Very pleasant surprise. Definitely try that. Okay, so ham looks beautiful. We've heated it up to about 140. So, get all those toothpicks out of there. Just going to come in here and do a little carving. Don't judge me right now. But I'm literally just going to cut some slices off here. I'm into the bone here, so I may have to change my strategy for sure. Alright, we'll come on this side. Yeah, that's a lot better. Yeah, it just comes right off there. And again, I'm not too worried about butchering it, as they say. It's already spiraled, so I'm just cutting through the spiral so I can get the slices out. Okay. All right, so we're going to take a little slice here. Really looks good. As you can see, we were careful not to overcook that. Wow. That is so good. What makes it even better? A little slice of that pineapple. Put those together, a little sandwich. This may have been the best ham I've ever made. No joke. Follow this recipe step by step, and you will be very pleasantly surprised, I promise. Wow, I'm still thinking about those eggs too. It really took me by surprise. So, well, we're gonna eat. God bless you guys. Okay guys, real quick, I wanted to tell you just a little bit more about those eggs. You can take a look there and see the yolk, and you can see how it's kind of a creamy, it's still got that creamy center to it, right? You see the color difference here on the very outer edge versus most of the yolk that's on the inside. This is a perfectly cooked egg. A lot of times when people boil eggs, they tend to just get that, you know, bright canary yellow, crumbly throughout sort of texture on the yolk, and that's just overcooked. So that 8-minute mark on the stove, 15 to 17 on the smoker at 250, and you're going to get that beautifully cooked egg, I should say. Anyway, the centers are creamy and delicious. The ham turned out perfect. Definitely not overcooked. You know, again, those hams are pre-cooked. Some people make the mistake of thinking they're cooking the ham, so they'll, you know, keep it in the oven or on the smoker till it gets to 165, 170. You've way overcooked your ham by that point. People also make the mistake of, especially with those spiraled hams, laying those on their side in the smoker and letting that just kind of fillet open. And you're getting heat and smoke all down in between those slices. Now, yeah, that gives you added flavor, but really how much more? Because again, don't worry about that. People cook whole cuts of ham. People cook pork butts. They're unsliced and they still get a beautiful smoke ring. That smoke is meant to penetrate. So don't think you got to lay that ham open. You're just going to dry it out a little more, maybe a lot more. And again, get it off that smoker about 140. You're going to love the texture a lot better. I'm very pleased with the way everything turned out. And again, if you like the content, if you've enjoyed yourself a little bit, I know I have, please comment. That only helps me. Like, subscribe, and I am very grateful to anyone who supports the channel. This is one of those things that is a labor of love, I have to say. It's not like, you know, making reaction videos. Nothing against that. I watch those myself. And not that those aren't work, but, you know, smoking meat, barbecuing is hours and hours of work, and watching and waiting and checking the fire and moisturizing and reseasoning. And really, it's just something that your heart has to be in. And like I say, I love it. And I hope that it helps you, and I hope you enjoy it as well. So try this recipe. Happy Easter. God bless you all.